Shalom. I was looking at 1 Thessalonians. I usually don't spend that much time in Thessalonians, but it is one of the earlier letters that were written. And I continue to come across this theme that within the body of Messiah seems somewhat pervasive, especially now. So I wanted to address it. And looking at 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, starting in verse 1. But you have no need to have anything written to you, brothers, about the times and dates when this will happen, because you yourselves well know that the day of the Lord will come like a thief in the night. When people are saying everything is so peaceful and secure, then destruction will suddenly come upon them. The way labor pains come upon a pregnant woman, there is no way they will escape. But you, brothers, are not in the dark, so that the day should take you by surprise like a thief. For you are all people who belong to the light, who belong to the day. We don't belong to the night or to the darkness. So let's not be asleep like the rest are. On the contrary, let us stay alert and sober. Now, we know from Paul's writings that he considered the end times to be beginning truly right when he lived. So obviously they've continued on till now. We find a lot of people spend a lot of time and effort trying to pinpoint when the return of the Messiah is going to occur. Even though the Bible tells us that we're not going to know that. That no one is going to know that. We'll know the season. No, we know it's the season. Has been the season. Will be the season. But we won't know the date or time. It says here in Thessalonians that it'll come like a thief in the night. When everything is peaceful and secure, then destruction will suddenly come upon them. Okay, so what's the message to us as believers? Well, the message to us is actually fairly simple. It doesn't matter, or it shouldn't matter, when Yeshua is going to come. If he comes tomorrow, well, your behavior should be as if maybe he will come tomorrow. And what if he doesn't come for another couple thousand years? Well, that shouldn't change your behavior either. See, none of these things really matter. If he comes tomorrow, if he comes in a week, if he comes in a month, if he comes in a year, if he comes in a decade, if he comes in a century, if he comes in another millennia, if he comes in another 10 millennia. None of this really affects our behavior and what we're supposed to do. Again, Yeshua gave us a role model in his life here on earth. And he told us this is how we should behave. There are two main instructions and lots of categories, and then lots of more specific instructions. Right? The two main categories are love God with all your heart, all your soul, and all your strength. And love each other. That's it. Love God, love each other. Right? How do you do that? How do you love God? Well, that one's pretty easy. Do what he told us. If we do what he told us, he'll like that. He already told us he'll like that. How do we love each other? Love your neighbor as yourself. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Help the poor, the widows and orphans. Don't put your ego in front of others. All of the things that Torah teaches us. So if we follow Torah and Yeshua comes tomorrow. That's great. And if we follow Torah, and Yeshua doesn't come for 1,000 years, that's great. You see, because following Torah means loving God and loving our neighbors. And that's what Yeshua was trying to tell us to do all along. So if the return, the beginnings of the return, if they come like a thief in the night, it doesn't matter. If suddenly there's destruction, it doesn't matter. If we follow Torah, love God, love each other, we're on the right path. We're on the right path. We are on HaDerekh, HaDerekh, the path of righteousness. And that's all we should be doing. Now, is there anything wrong with trying to guess when Yeshua is going to return? And the answer is maybe. If it is taking you away from loving God, if it is taking you away from loving your neighbor, if it is such a supreme distraction that you're not following the path of righteousness because you're spending so much time worrying about when Yeshua is going to come back, then it's a negative. Pure and simple. Don't do that. If it's a minor curiosity, while your feet are firmly planted on the path of righteousness, following Torah, loving God, loving your neighbor, then there's no harm. But the minute it becomes your main focus, you've missed the point. And understand what missing the point means. It means you're not following the path of righteousness. That is sin, according to 1 John chapter 3 and according to Romans chapter 7. And whenever we sin, we are executing Yeshua our Messiah all over again. This is something we must try to avoid. So love God, love your neighbor. Yeshua will return. And whenever he returns, it's okay. Don't be distracted, for the kingdom is coming, whether you're distracted by it or not. Shalom.